Okay, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We are playing with rockets. Last two episodes. Last episode, I tried to make it into orbit and I failed miserably. What, 3 times? Oh my God, it was awful. And it's just because I was trying to do too much too quickly and just got ahead of myself. And I'm sure that is something that many of you can empathize with. I went ahead and got this general construction, which gives me struts, and it also gives me launch stability enhancer. And so hopefully that will help me out a little bit. Lead facility, and we're gonna go, and I'm gonna try and do something a little bit different because quite frankly what I've been trying to do hadn't been working. I think we're gonna take off the materials bay here, Science Junior. I think that we can bring up in future flights. We do want to make sure though to keep our heat shield. Right, and what else? My center of mass is a bit off. Yeah, so my torque, I have about 0.2 kilonewtons of torque on this right now, and it's in this direction, which is why when we are launching it's tending towards that direction, which brings us south actually. And I wonder why that is. Like, is it the ABS device or what? I don't know why. I bet you is it those? So I wonder if I put these like this, at least torque in the direction that we want it. No, that didn't do anything. It did nothing. Let's see. Let's take that off. And let's do 2 of those. What does that do for us? That was it. It was having that imbalance from having the funny snacks. Trying to fit it inside that little niche there is just not working. I wonder if I take this off. Alright, so move these in. See, it's harder because I have to have these snacks. If I don't have these snacks, Valentina is going to starve, and starving is not good. It's everybody say it now, together now, less than optimal. So here's what I will do. Does that look like a happy little rocket capsule or what? Space capsule? If that doesn't look like a happy little space capsule, I don't know what does. Got a nose, it's got ears, it's got eyes, it's got a little mouth. Oh, what a happy little space capsule. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. This one's a little bit less sure. this face is a little bit less sure of itself. Okay, save. I know I'm over-saving the other kinship ones, but those didn't work well, so they can go away. So that is RCS build aid, by the way, that I used to figure out what was going on with my rocket there. I'm going to bring it down to 3 days again. Again, because that's less weight and some more delta V. I have these right now, but what about my parts limits? What's my part limit? I can do 5 more parts. So if I do 4 and then 6, that ain't gonna work. Or 2, 4, and then I have 1 more, so that's not gonna work. So I still can't put those boosters on. So we're gonna try it one last time with this balanced rocket now, and hopefully we can control it well enough to make it into space. Three, two, one. It's already starting to turn a little bit. I'm actively fighting it a little bit, even though that is the direction I want it to go. Responding a little bit better. Only a little bit. I'm starting to lose it. Boy, I am not rotating this by myself at all. It is all due to aerodynamic forces. Frustrating. That first fuel went out first, and then that made it, yeah, so one of the things you want to do is you want to turn these off and let it go out of the bottom tank first and then out of the top tank, and that's going to keep the stability, because right now it's wanting to put the heavier part at the back, I guess, or the front, I don't know. Honestly, I'm just going to revert flight to vehicle launch. I'm going to see if I can do it better. Because doing these little, oh, well, we're going to fail and take it anyway, it's getting old. tag these and keep them here, and we will turn off that. And man, I just keep it straight this time. See, it's already going to the right a little bit, and that's just, it's too soon. You don't want to start that gravity turn until you're going at least 100 meters per second with these fins. And I don't want to go that direction either, guys. Come on here. I'm just trying to keep this grade marker centered straight up as much as I can. Part of having that added challenge of having the life support. If I didn't have to have all that weight, and if I wasn't trying to bring all the science into orbit as well, I think this would work just fine, and it just might end up being what I have to do if this still fails again. So I'm focusing right here quite a bit, just trying to keep this thing going straight up. We are at a decent speed now. Alright. And we're just going to come in back into the atmosphere the way we're going to come back into the atmosphere. Broken a speed record and an altitude record. That's a pretty steep. I'd rather it be. I'd rather of it had been a lot more shallow. And the way to have done that is to have done the gravity turn sooner. But it just was so difficult. I'm actually feeling fortunate that I got what I got. So hopefully Valentina will survive the re-entry. We do have the heat shield, so that ought to occur. Observe Mr. Go. I never push those back in, and so I think that, honestly, I think the aerodynamic forces around these mystery goose is what was causing so much of the problem at this point. Okay. Observe mystery goo. Keep that. Crew report. I'll send that off. Keeping an eye on my batteries. You need batteries to re-enter, so you can keep your retrograde. You gotta just keep that. And I'll send that off. Can I EVA? I can't EVA because I need to upgrade the astronaut complex to be able to do so. So, but there's our happy little capsule. Happily in the air. I'm going to turn her this way. And I'm going to just take a peek inside. And that's actually not the way you would want to re-enter. You'd want to re-enter with your head over here and your butt here and your feet there. So interesting. Oh well. I don't know, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure that you'd be able to tolerate G-forces better that way, because that's how our body is designed to resist gravity, or at least forces that simulate gravity. But we did escape the atmosphere, got quite a bit for that, and we've broken a land distance record, we've broken an altitude record, and we have reached space, so we got some good stuff for that. So where are we at? We got 41. We're not going to be able to quite get the next science with just this, but well, I have some stuff, so by the time we make it back we will. And I don't know if we're going to be able to upgrade to get more parts. And there's two ways to brute force it, right? You either put more rocket parts on there, or you get more efficient, larger parts. So you either science your way out of it, or you spend your way out of it. Which way? You probably tend to do a little bit of both. And we are about to enter the atmosphere again. We are now back in the atmosphere. We're going to want to try and stay retrograde as much as possible. The more on retrograde, the better. Now, what we can do is we can be slightly above retrograde, and what that's going to do is, as the air hits the shield, it will tend to create lift and flatten out our trajectory just a wee bit. Now, on this steep of re-entry, I don't know how much that's going to actually get us, but another technique that we can use is we can roll left and right as we're coming down, just to increase our drag, and hopefully and do turns. Once the atmosphere starts to bite, that will take effect. Right now, there's so thin, there's so little atmosphere that while we are slowing down, it's not near enough. Where atmosphere efficiency is at 30%, but it is rising. When it gets to 100, that means we are at terminal velocity, and when it's above 100, that means we're going faster than terminal velocity and are wanting to slow down. Starting to see atmospheric effects here. And we're going to start to see some big G-forces. We got to slow down to, I think it's like 350 or 300 meters per second before we can use our parachute. So we can't do that by, say, 2,000, 2,500 meters. We are in trouble. But it's doing a good job of slowing down. I can use that little technique, and that'll slow us down some more. Yeah, we're gonna be fine. Yeah, I could release the parachutes now if I wanted to. I'm almost out of electric charge. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. And once I get to 2,500 meters, then I'll go ahead and release my parachute. A little bit slower than I would have liked, but it works. We'll be just fine. There's our moon. We'll be on the surface of that soon enough. And we have full opening of our parachutes. That's going to slow us down. Had some G-forces there, but nothing too drastic. And we're down to about looks like 6.5 to 7 meters per second. Certainly did not need all of those supplies. And we'll just make it all the way back down. Graphical glitches there. Get that often. Notice no matter where I rotate, it's still there. Okay, 80, 70, 60 meters. Actually, 50 meters. 40, 30, 20, 10, splash down. Recover that vessel. And we are going to try and make orbit. We just made it to space, but we did not make orbit. But we got a lot of good science out of it, and so, excuse me, and so hopefully we can spend some of the science wisely. Get some advanced rocketry. Those are all, I think, going to be helpful. And getting these additional fuel systems would be helpful, but I can't afford that. Getting the aviation might give us some additional options, but I don't think it really will, but I'll take it anyway. Just because we're going to need to get it at some point. Okay. Go back to the vehicle assembly building. And my goal, my only goal, I will go back to the contracts before I launch this thing, but my goal, my only goal is honestly, I just want to make it to orbit. I don't care about sciencing it. I've already been up into space, and so I've got science for that. So I'm going to take these things off. So I'm going to save that and launch it. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to go to the contracts window and see if there was any additional contracts that I wanted, but oh well. Let's go. These solid rocket boosters, by the way, also have exceptional, what do they call that? Oh, brain fart. Gimbaling. Oh, that's the word I was looking for. They have exceptional gimbaling, and so the control, as you can see, I mean, this thing's just going straight up now. It's doing exactly what I wanted to do, and nothing more, nothing less. I'm gonna just now start my roll, but just a hair. And with these tail fins, because you're mostly using aerodynamic forces to steer your craft, it kind of does it in a wonky way. So I'm just tapping the D key. I don't want to go too far off prograde. That's A, inefficient, and B, that can lead to problems. You know, we're at 75, and so I like to be right about here. When we hit 10, I go to 45, and then I wait till my apoapsis gets up to, I have to wait till my actual altitude gets up to 20, and or I'm approaching 40 kilometers before I start to pass before. So now we're putting equal force going up away from Kerbal and over onto Yuri. Also, I have to watch this as well to make sure that I appropriately turn this back on. this gets to 55, I'll actually want to bring it down to the horizon. Alright, manage those. We're starting to see atmospheric effects, but that's okay. We're right about 55, so now we want to bring it over to the horizon. And it's going to start bringing our current axis up outside of the planet's crust. If you notice, it's pushing us out instead of up. I'm going to keep it on the horizon. I think I just ran out. I did, but I will make it to space. Or just barely. And go ahead and release that because that has a lot of drag associated with it that I just don't need. And then when I get up to my apoapsis, maybe about 30 seconds before, or not even, probably about 15 seconds before, so I'll do another burn, and that'll get me into orbit. So just on our way up. There's our KSC, and it'll be the first time Kerbal kind has achieved orbit in this career. I've achieved orbit once or twice, despite the first 3 episodes, which would indicate my abilities were a little bit less capable than I would have at least suggested to myself. But you know, who's the best person to fool yourself? You are. Nobody can fool yourself like yourself. Okay, we're about to reach space. We've reached space. If you notice, when I hit the key, it goes to 5 times now, and that that also puts it on rails. Everything stops rotating and moving, and it just moves the spaceship as in its attitude along the thing. Now, I burnt that a little bit too soon because I'm pushing my apoapsis up. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer. It's okay that I pushed my apoapsis because I usually do like a 75, 80 kilometer orbit minimum anyway. Actually, I like to do 100, 250. 100 for a low Earth orbit, right, low Earth Kerbal orbit, and 250 for like a space station or whatnot, because then I can, those are the limits for time acceleration, because you can't go past a certain time acceleration this close to the planet for game reasons, for technical computer reasons, performance reasons, and so therefore doing so, sorry, I'm trying to do too much at once. Just make sure that that gets up, and that's above 70, and it's pretty circular, considering I didn't have any maneuver nodes. So we have achieved orbit. We're up here for a while, and we have plenty of delta V, so we might actually go ahead and get up into high Kerbal orbit, which I think is above 250. They're still looking. Great job. And we have entered orbit, and so that gives us more money and more science. Let's do a crew report. Do we need it? Can we? No, nothing there. I took all the science off of this just so I could achieve orbit, because that was my only goal with this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to F5, so I can always F9 it later if I need to. F5 save does a quick save. F9, Control F9 will load that last quick save. Right, and so I'm gonna burn until this gets above 250. 250, I said. There you go. And if I click this, you notice it's counting down. I have 17 days worth of supplies on this ship. I have 16 days worth of electric charge and 29 days worth of habitability. And the hull means even if I went from this ship to another ship that had more habitability time, I need to get back home within 59 days. Now, if I do go into a nicer, bigger colony or ship, that can be increased to, I think it's twice the best ship you got that you've ever been in. But in any case, so now we can go 50 times, but while below 120, you can't go beyond 50 times. And see, see that red line means I have no connection to Kerbal Space Center with my antenna, which is okay because I got Valentina and she can control the ship. Okay, and she's gonna go ahead and lower our per apsis into the atmosphere, and 70 kilometers is where the atmosphere starts for Kerbal, not for other planets, but for Kerbal. And so, you know, just having it right at 60 is about right. That gives us enough of a bite that it'll slow down, but not so much that it's going to just drop in and have too shallow of a re-entry. We don't want it to skip off the atmosphere, but we got plenty of delta V that we can spend as we enter the atmosphere to slow ourselves down enough to go ahead and enter. And we're going to eventually jettison this. We're not going to keep this. I'd like to for the money, but with only this little parachute, I'm not going to. I don't know. I probably could. But oh, I missed it. I missed. Oh, we're in space low still. Oh gosh. How frustrating. That's what you get for just not paying attention to what you're doing. Gosh. Oh. I don't know. Is it frustrating watching me being frustrated, or is it funny? Or is it just boring? I don't know. You let me know. Let me know. What is it? Okay, so we're just gonna go all the way to the atmosphere now, since we screwed that up. No point in increasing our thing. I guess I could have stayed outside and just gone around it once more, but you get some science anyway. So this time I don't want to slow it down too much, so I don't want that to be below 40. So once it goes below 40, I'm just going to stop and let it do its own thing, and then when we get into it again, I'll light it back up. So we're back in the atmosphere, so our time warp is physical now, so I can still move my ship. When you're in space and you have non-physical time warp, your ship is on rails, so you can't move it like I'm doing right now. Now, what you can do, even if you're in space and you want to time warp with physical acceleration like it is now, you just press Alt and then the accelerate button, the period button, and it will do the physical acceleration versus the on-rails acceleration. So I am pointed about 45 degrees up. The slow so I'm going to... Oh, and I still have my time acceleration, if you notice. So I'm going to take my SAS off. Actually, I'll put it back on. So I do want to stay here, but once you get below 900, there is 0 atmospheric effects, which is about Mach 3. And so there's 0 worry at 1,200 meters per second that I'm going to burn anything on my spacecraft. So my spacecraft is safe. And I will slow down for sure fast enough, unless I was coming straight down. But coming in at this angle, I will slow down fast enough that I'll be perfectly safe, and Valentina will be the first Kerbal to orbit and return back to home. You notice I have my attitude pointed above my retrograde slightly to help create that lift, which is what I'm trying to do there with that. If I really wanted to, I could rotate it left and right, and that because I have the reaction wheel, it's actually got enough. It's got enough authority, control authority, to do a full 360. Not anymore though, because now we're starting to bite. We've gotten to that second part of the atmosphere where it really bites. And all this while I'm under acceleration, by the way, time acceleration. All right, Valentina, good girl. Way to go. All right, recovered from our first orbit. All right, so Valentina went to orbit, and I think that's going to be it for this episode. This is new me, because I am changing a little bit where the edit was from where I thought it was going to be. But thanks for watching, as always, and I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks.